Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde, and we are back again on another edition. It's been a while. I miss our viewers, and I know, the viewers also miss seeing me. but it's good to be here, and we are back to do the usual thing again.
Well, I pretended to be you on a couple of occasions, but I didn't fool anybody. They could tell that I was not you. Even though, I cut my hair similar to yours, but I couldn't quite pull it off.
That's a bald head here. Yes.
I couldn't pull it off.
Well, I was away, because of certain things, but I'm back again. But don't be surprised if I cough on the program.
And the same here. So
yeah,
I've developed a cough over the last few years. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So I am with Julde. Julde, good morning.
Good morning.
Julde, you are looking beautiful.
Thank you.
This is beautiful.
I mean, the kind of word you would normally use, she's looking resplendent.
Now I'm flattered.
No, you are. You look very lovely.
She is as beautiful as a flower.
Oh my God.
There you are.
Oh my God. Guys, I am flattered.
In fact, not only the flower, but the petal of the flower.
Oh my word. Julde, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. How you guys are making me blush already. Balde, welcome back. We missed you.
I miss you people too.
We missed you so much.
People are asking, where's the VJ? Where's the VJ?
I've been away, and I've also been following the program.
Good.
Okay.
If I'm in the house, I always tune into my phone, and I mean, you people, you did very well. You did very good. Interesting interactions. For the past couple of weeks or days.
Yeah. I pretended to be like Balde, but I tried though.
There's only one. He's irreplaceable. He's irreplaceable.
Well, I think she did better than Balde.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So we are back, and on the program today, we'll be taking a look at the African code. And the code today, we are going to take a look. It's a Zulu code.
Apparently, yes. A Zulu proverb.
And we will talk to the Minister for Gender, Fatu Kinte, 21 trillion prosthetic tech, and it's important for us to engage her on this, to look at the need why people, 21 people trained on this.
Prosthetic technology. And I was really quite impressed with it, and I'm looking forward to that interaction with the Minister.
Unfortunately, the second segment will not hold because I received a call from the communications officer of the Ministry of Agriculture this morning that they are busy doing certain things, and they won't be able to attend the program today.
Okay.
Yeah. So we won't be having the agriculture, communications on the program today. So Julde, let's take a look at the African proverb.
Okay, Balde. African proverb this morning is a Zulu proverb. Mr. Ade always asks, where is a proverb
So
from?
I'm glad that we've identified it to somewhere.
Zulu proverb.
Yes.
And it reads, if you cut down the big tree, the small trees will fall down by themselves. If you cut down the big tree, the small trees will fall down by themselves.
This is a very interesting one. I don't want to argue with my Zulu friends first thing in the morning, but I'm not sure. I guess, if you take it out of the literal sense of it, which we always have to do with these proverbs, and go to the kind of metaphorical sense, it's like if you have an organization and you take out the person who is at the head, that organization might collapse because that person might be the person who, because they are at the head and they so dominate it, they do everything. But if you look at it in the literal sense, I mean, just because you chop down a big tree doesn't mean the smaller ones are going to fall. They have their own roots and they stand independently. But I think if you take it, as I said, if you take it out of this sense and into the sense of, an organization or, sometimes, for example, all these coups d'etats. Once you remove the president, that's it. It's collapsed, and then, somebody else takes over. So that's my reading of it. I've taken it away from the literal sense of a tree being chopped down. I can see that Julde is about to disagree violently, but carry on.
Not necessarily. To some extent, I agree with Mr. Ade. For me, I think removing the big tree and the small trees falling I will take it in the perspective of, you know, mentorship and good leadership. For instance, I think oftentimes that is the issues we have in this country or even in other countries. For instance, you are in the helm of affairs and then you're the only one running everything, and then you didn't get to, that knowledge is not translated to other people or to your junior staff. So the moment you are not there, every other thing crumbles. So, and I think that is a bad thing, because you know, if you're not there, it means nothing is functioning. So I think that is why, for me, I always advocate for people to really, you know, mentor people, mentorship people, and also legacy. It's important. And I keep saying this. Oftentimes, people they're not really particular about legacies. For me, for instance, if you ask me today, you know, I am inspired by you and I like what you do and everything, I always remember one person. That is Talib Haidara, who was the editor, you know, at Standard, and he's still the editor at Standard. I mean, he has so much impact in my life and in my career. So for me, I think legacy is very important. You know, whatever I achieve today as a person, as a journalist, I always really, I owe so much to that individual because he impacted so much to me. So, you know, it is not in a case whereas if he falls like that, if the big three falls, every other threes are bound to fall, because of we don't really train people or our junior staff everything we want, because sometimes we feel insecure that if I train this particular individual, or if
they will be
what I have, exactly, they will be better than me. Like most of the times you see that bosses are threatened by their junior staffs, which is really, really, really bad, because if you are not there, it means everything will go
exactly.
down.
I think Julda made a point there. I mean, the reason why most of the time we are moving in slow paced as Africans is, you know, we step our foot on, you know, people's success. I mean, if you're my boss now, you know, at some point you won't allow me to grow under you. You know, if at all you are not that boss that is open-minded, you will tend to block my success. At some point, I cannot grow there until I leave that institution. So I think these are things that are affecting people. I think you grow by helping people grow. I mean, I've never seen whereby you help a person to grow and that you know, it takes you backward. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, some of my former staff from London, they watch the show now, so they know what I'm about to say is true. I mean, when they worked for me, I realized that they had certain qualities, and I actually encouraged them to leave the job and go and get better qualifications. And now some of them have got PhDs, you know, and we're still friends. Because I could see something in them, and also I've always been one who believes that just because you're the head of an organization, if you're not there, that organization should carry on. If it doesn't, then that shows you're a bad leader, because you should build structures so that nobody is replaceable, not even you, even if you are the head of it. But as we said, we've all worked in situations where people are scared of those who are their juniors or those who are their staff, because they think, oh, this person is clever. If I encourage them too much, they'll show that they're cleverer than me. Well, big deal. If that's the case, then fine. But if it's the organization's interest that you have at heart, then that actually shouldn't worry you that the person is cleverer than you, because it can happen.
Well, I think that's important. I mean, regarding the proverb, I mean, we all might have different interpretation. I mean,
I'm sure.
You know, it's telling you to focus on the bigger problems than the smaller ones. Once you solve the bigger ones, the smaller ones won't become your problem anymore. You understand? So, you know, if at all you have something that is bothering you, make sure go to the root of the issue that is bothering you. I mean, solve that first. From there, then you should be able to. There was a time I went to see a medical doctor. That was like 7-8 years ago. I said to him, doctor, I mean, for the past 1 week, you know, I'm not able to sleep. I couldn't sleep for the past 1 week. You know, early in the morning, I'll be awake. You understand? Sometimes my eyes will be closed, but I realized that my, you know, mind, my soul
is not rested.
Is not rested. You know, he said to me, there is no medicine that can solve that. He said you have to go to the root of what is making you not to sleep. You understand? So then I start reflecting what is happening, what time did I get to this stage, what happened before that time. So then I start for going all those things. Then I realize I got my peace back to sleep.
Yeah, quite. Because sometimes it's something subconscious. It's not an obvious thing, but there's obviously something there that is making you not sleep all of a sudden. But sometimes it needs somebody to tell you that, okay, check yourself, go back and think, what is it that's bothering you, that's keeping you awake, that's preventing you from sleeping? I think all of us at some stage in our life, when we're going through certain traumatic things, we've experienced that.
So he said to me, I mean, even if I give you sleeping tablets, you will sleep. Then after, when the tablets are, when they are done doing their effect, you will go back to your
my
stage.
worst time was, I think I went 13 days without sleeping. And she's probably watching now, my ex-wife. She had kidnapped our son and taken him from England to America. And we couldn't find them. And I can tell you that, like you, I went to the doctor and it's like, but that I was able to tell him straight away. And it was like, there's nothing I can do. And in fact, I think he was a bit worried about giving me sleeping tablets. Not that I would have taken them, but 13 days I could not sleep. And yet I was getting up every day. And then one day my boss called me and said, what's the problem? And he and I had a good relationship, and I explained to him. But yeah, so it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. So viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will look into some of the stories that we have here. Be reminded, this is QTV This Morning. And we've already dealt with the African code. Now we will go for the break. After the break, then the program will continue. We'll be right back.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
We are back, and this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde in the studio with Jules Denjai and Mr. Adedrame. Bundung women greet President Adama Barrow with empty buckets. I mean, signifying that they don't have water. Sometimes they can go for a week without water.
That's right.
My reason of bringing this on the program.
Is that some form of protest?
Yes,
it
sort
was
of a
because
protest.
he had gone to open the police station in Bundung. And in fact, I was told by our colleague who went that the president was quite shocked when he heard about this, because he in fact, wanted to go and see what the problem was, because they told him that, look, these women have been complaining, and he was like, why hadn't this been raised up before? So on the same day that he went to open the police station, the women came with their empty buckets to make, it was a protest, and to make a point that, we have water problems here. So, but apparently he's promised to look into it.
Well, I'm happy that Gambians, we are free to the extent of expressing how we feel to our head of state.
I won't name the president, but there are certain presidents in this country where they would never have dared do that.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
Exactly.
Everybody else knows who
they
the
can
president is.
When I saw the women doing that, I said,
name.
wow, okay, now I can now attest we have democracy in this country.
Yeah, sure.
There were times that you are not even crazy to do that.
Even
if you don't have water, if the president comes, you will smile by force.
As Muhammad Ali.
And I think,
carry on.
I think it's a good thing, and I think I will encourage the president to be doing this more often, like not just when it is time to inaugurate projects, but also to be going around the country, to know actually what the problem is, because sometimes what you are told and the realities on the ground is a total different ball game.
I think that's why in the Gambia initially they instituted this Meet the People tour.
Yeah.
It's become Meet the People now. It used to be Meet the Farmers when it first started, because obviously farming is such a crucial part of the Gambia's economy. But now it's grown to that. But you're right, over the time, the Meet the People tour has almost become a kind of political
Politicized.
thing. So, and yes, it's good that spontaneously, when he was told about this, he said, I want to go and see what the problem is. So that's a good, good response. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's good sometimes to go and get the first-hand information,
Sure.
how people are living, because sometimes where you are living as a head of state is rosy there. I mean,
What do you mean sometimes?
It's
know,
always
rosy.
Always
rosy, Balde.
rosy,
you know,
It's
but
That's
always
why some of them
rosy.
don't want to leave.
But still they will complain. I mean, the president was on. The president was on. Is a state of affairs.
That's
I mean, he said, "You see the cars, you see everything. You think it's easy." I mean, he said that on QTV.
Because it's not
Because
easy
it doesn't mean
to
in that
get a
sense, it's not
compound.
about where he lives.
Yeah.
It's talking about, you know, the fact that you bear a heavy burden.
So you mean there is no struggle at the State House?
What struggle?
What struggle?
When you want to
Like
drive,
water,
people have to clear the
electricity,
road for
food,
you. Please
Everything,
behave.
it's free. Come
You
on,
know.
come on, Balde.
No.
But
No,
I think
he
also,
wasn't talking about
Mr.
that.
Adi,
Yeah.
I think like sometimes as a leader, it's good to cross-check and fact-check issues. If
Sure.
someone comes to you and says that, like, I've done 1, 2, 3, or so and so, or I've accomplished so and so, I think it's important from time to time to have an independent person to go and really fact-checked all of these
Well,
things that you are told.
Let me give
Really?
I'll give you the perfect example of that. When I came to the Gambia and people were talking about crime, and I hope he's watching, a policeman said to me, he said, under the former president, he said, even if the crime figures were bad, we were scared to tell him because we didn't want to give out the message that crime was rampant. And so people thought there was no crime when there was. But because it wasn't reported, because the president would have been angry with them, why are you not doing your job? Everybody said, oh, crime is terrible now.
Yeah.
And the guy said, no. He said, the facts are, it's no worse than it ever was. Just people feel freer now to talk about it and report it. He said, under the previous chap, they were scared. You know, so you do have that. You need to go and you need to see what people would say. And sometimes it's good if the president just does a surprise visit. Unfortunately, in Africa, there's very little chance of a surprise visit. They can see your motorcade coming from 2 miles away. So they know it's the president coming. People are being cleared off the roads and so on. So it's harder, but sometimes you need to get down to the grassroots and not just believe the pieces of paper that people shove in front of you and say, you know, this problem is solved. But it's not easy. Because you can't be everywhere, and that's why you have to rely on your officials, your ministers and other officials.
Imam Fati fires back at Gamco Trap boss, says she has no audacity, no temerity, no effrontery, I mean, to call for my arrest.
Yeah, that one they'll be going back and forth. She has, you know, no right to call for his arrest. He's right. I mean, you know, unless people want us to get into the whole story again, the women who were charged and found guilty, he went and paid their fine to prevent them going to prison. He's a citizen, individual citizen. It's his right to do that, but they broke the law, and the law punished them accordingly. For me, that's the end of the story.
Yeah, so, I mean...
But there's no reason why he should be arrested because he did that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think
he issued an audio, and I did not get to listen to the audio, but I understand that like he made very strong statements there.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't hear the audio, so I
haven't
can't
heard the
really
audio.
comment on that.
No. But yeah.
Well,
So-
it's a difficult situation.
It
Female
is.
genital mutilation, I mean, and the concept that Gambians have, for you to eradicate it, you have to do a lot of work. Because it has to do, I mean, people are mixing this with religion. And at some
the
point,
point.
you know, people believed in this. When I was talking to my colleagues this morning, they asked me, they said to me, Balde, did you believe in it? I said,
I mean, we had the VP, former VP here to talk about it.
I said,
Yeah.
before I give you my answer, I have to give you some of my, I mean, base. I mean,
go on.
I grew up in a society that, you know, they practice this.
Yeah.
You understand? So from one place to another, from grandparents mother, aunties, sisters, you understand? So even if I did not believe in it, or even if I am to eradicate it from my mind, it has to take some time for me to adapt to the new way.
Yeah, look, the reason I'm trying to stop you is that we had like a 25-minute conversation about it here with the former VP who now works for Gamco Trap. And we went through all of this. And as she said rightly, even on the religious side, there are people, imams on both sides of the argument. They actually
misconceptions everywhere.
They actually counter each other. So, like I said, I mean, we dealt with it at length here.
You can't, because misconceptions are everywhere, and unless and until we really, have a national dialogue about these misconceptions, I mean, we will not go anywhere.
But what is not muddy is that the law is the law. That it has been outlawed. That's a fact. That's not a matter of dispute or opinion. It is outlawed. End of story. If you do it, you're breaking the law. Whatever you believe in or you don't believe in it, right now, in our statute books, there's a law that forbids it. You break that, you have broken the law. Anybody who wants to go, they can go and pay your fine if they want, but you have broken the law as it stands. If that law is repealed, fine, that's another matter. But right now, the law is the law.
No,
well, the reason why I don't talk about, FGM a lot.
Well, you're just talking about it a lot now.
Yes, because we are on the program. That's why I came up with this. But my reason of not talking about it, because it's very complex. When you start when you start talking about it, you start hearing different comments. If you go on Facebook today and talk about it, maybe you would be insulted. If you say, I believe in it, or I don't believe in it.
There are differing views
about it.
There are different people. That's a fact. There are different views about it.
So moving on, the Minister of Foreign Affairs says deportation deal with EU went to Assembly by mistake.
Yes, this was reported by us on the QTV News last night. Our colleague Choi was there. And look, there's no way of dressing this up. It was an embarrassment. The papers had been sent to National Assembly members for information, for them to read the whole text of it so they would understand what it was about. It wasn't meant to be a motion that was tabled, but accidentally or somehow that is what happened. And so it had to be withdrawn because it wasn't meant to be for National Assembly's consideration. Mistakes can happen, but that was fairly major. In fact, there were two motions, one to do with this, the other to do with defense. There was a treaty that we actually haven't signed yet, which, because it hasn't been signed by us, it couldn't be debated either. So that also had to be withdrawn. So yesterday was a bad day at the National Assembly for us. One was on the side of the ministry, the Defense Ministry. The other was on the side of the Clerk of the House and the people who run the National Assembly. They should not have tabled it, because it wasn't meant to be tabled. It was just meant to be shared amongst National Assembly members. So they would read it, and then whenever it came for it to be debated, they would be debating from an informed position rather than just emotions and so on. Because it's quite...
I'm surprised, Mr. Ade, because I think there are procedures before you can actually table a motion or a bill. It has to go through a lot of stages and processes. So for me, really, escaping the ministries, escaping the clerks, until going to the National Assembly, for it to be debated, like the general membership, it's really something, I think, really, for me, that's beyond mistake.
No, it's I don't know about beyond mistake. It's a serious mistake.
It is.
But it's a mistake nonetheless. I mean, look, we can all sit here and we can say these things. We're all human beings. We can all make mistakes, and we've all made mistakes in our work. That's what they did. It's a big one. It should not have happened. And I have to say this, and not because he doesn't owe me or I don't owe him anything. But if somebody like Khalifa Saleh had still been in the House, he would have realized and he would have told them this should not be coming to the House. Absolutely. Because it's not. It hasn't, as Julia said, it hasn't gone through.
It doesn't hold water.
Not about hold water. It hasn't gone through the processes.
The right process.
For it, he would have known, for example, that the treaty had not been signed, and he would also know that this agreement with the EU has not been ratified by both sides. So, if they haven't done that, it cannot come to the House for debate. And he would have told them to stop it. But those who voted him out, I hope you're happy that you did so, because now there's a gap.
Well, that's why it's important for you to understand the processes before you, do certain things as, National Assembly members.
I
And,
mean, they have had series of capacity building programs. For me, I think it's the question of, just asking these simple questions. If they had asked these simple questions, probably, this would not have happened.
Let me put it like this:
Maybe.
I don't want anybody to be sacked. But if this was in England, there would be serious consequences.
There should be serious
because this
consequences,
went to the
Mr.
National Assembly. It was broadcast, and you had the embarrassing situation of this having to be pulled with no notice at all, asking for it to be removed from the proceedings. Let's not sugarcoat it. It was a major embarrassment. And as I said, it was on the news. People can watch our news from last night, which was repeated at 10 and also this morning. And it's the whole sorry story is there. But the newspapers have covered it as well.
Yeah, so let's shift our attention to the local government commission that is currently ongoing. I think yesterday, it was the first day, the first day I concentrated
You paid
on
good attention to it. I saw you.
on the TV.
I saw you.
Because I was sitting and hearing this guy answering certain questions, and at some point he was not even realistic. It was not straightforward, and the lead council, have to rectify him back.
I lost the machine in my own house for 1 month.
Exactly.
And yet, receipts were recorded on the lost machine, which was in your house.
Yeah.
It's the first time I have heard a witness called a liar about a dozen times. I was quite shocked. The council, they were blunt. They didn't sugarcoat it. They didn't dance around or beat about the bush. They said, you are lying. Several times. It was embarrassing.
When I watched that, commission yesterday, my mind went straight to Basse. Because he's from Basse. He works at the area council. And I said, wow, our mothers, our grandparents, all the money they gather.
Their taxes, their rates.
People are taking it without any accountability. At some point they don't even know where their finances are going.
Quite.
These people, they don't even know it's the responsibility of the area council to do certain things for them.
60%
they think instead of they think they are the ones to serve the area council. This is the concept that they have. But yesterday the TRR, the TRRC.
It felt like it yesterday.
Yes, exactly. That move.
It felt like the
TRRC. It
TRRC
was like the day
yesterday.
Sarasabali came to the TRRC. That's how the environment was. But it's very disappointing.
And I would urge people to watch. Because as you rightly said, it's the money that is collected from us and from our parents, our grandparents, that is being squandered, that is being stolen. Let's not, be sort of delicate about this. This thing has unveiled some shocking facts, and I think people will be appalled if they watched it. It would probably end up, if people did watch it, probably end up having more of an impact than even the TRRC, because this impacts everybody and every community. We're seeing one particular council at the moment, but you can suspect this is going to be replicated across the country. Books not being kept, people saying, I collected rates, but I didn't record where I collected it. I didn't record how much I collected. I didn't record how much I banked. That is nonsensical. It's not even believable.
In fact, the machine was registering,
it was
some
registering
of the things in his house.
Automatically, while it is in his house and lost.
That's funny.
Trust me,
people
all
get away
of
with
these
things.
councils, as far as this commission is concerned, are guilty of this. And
that's why I said
the millions are squandered, and
today,
people
tomorrow
are
will be
really
another one.
paying attention to it. But for me, I think one of the major issues that I keep hearing from people is that we have had lots of commissions in the Gambia, but no impact.
Implementation.
No impact at all. People will come, look at the TRRC, people were literally crying. Sometimes people will cry. But then what happened? We're still waiting for the implementation aspect of it.
With that one.
We have the Jane Commission here. What happened to that commission?
Well,
we have this commission.
Well, Jane Commission, properties were seized and sold. So that one, you can track some of it. But you're right. With the TRRC, I did warn people that as a Sierra Leonean, we had our own Truth and Reconciliation. And when it finished, there was a 1,000-page report with recommendations. almost none of those recommendations, several years later, 15, 20 years, whatever it is,
Before they implement.
have been implemented. So I told people don't get too excited because some of them were unrealistic. Financially, they couldn't be delivered upon. But also what was odd about that one is that the people who benefited first were the former rebels who'd been around chopping and killing people. Because they didn't want them to return to the bush, they gave them all loans, or they gave them money to buy motorbikes so they could run motorbike taxis. And yet a lot of their victims never got a thing, not a dime. That's ridiculous.
One thing is for sure, if President Adama Barrow's government promised us that they are going to implement the TRRC report, I am going to wait with full hopes. Because they promised,
still optimistic.
they promised us democracy,
Yeah.
and they
Still
gave us
optimistic.
democracy. You know, at least that's hope there. If they say they are going to implement it, at least I have hope there will be an implementation at some point.
It's true.
they're
I mean,
still
the white paper which
optimistic.
came out accepted almost all
Yeah.
the recommendations of the TRRC. And the reason I counseled against too much excitement is that some of these things will take time to deliver. But what has happened, we heard from Aniket and others that, you know, some of the people who have been waiting for justice and waiting for reparations have died in the meantime without seeing the fruits of, you know, what was promised. So that is something that has to be dealt with, it has to be addressed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ade, for always.
Always a pleasure, and once
Coming on
again,
the
thank
program.
you for coming back to the show. And I must say to my aunt in London, she's 93 and she watches regularly. Auntie
Oh!
Omo. Yeah.
Your aunt is still seeing 93?
She's still seeing.
Clearly.
She says, and thank you for saying I look younger, Auntie. You know,
Thank
yeah.
you for following us.
All right, viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk to the Minister for Gender, Fatou Kinte, on the 21 trend on prosthetic tech. It's important for us to discuss this on the program, you know, and, you know, she will take us through the training and, of course, why the need and the people that are also selected to train on this.
And those who will benefit from it.
Exactly.
Sure.
So we'll be right back after the break.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system, reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35 22 222.
Yeah, so we are back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde and joined by my colleague Julden Jai. And we've already dealt with the review of some of the stories making headlines. And now we are joined in the studio by the Minister for Gender, Mrs. Fatou Kinte. 21 trained on prosthetic tech. It's important for her to take us through. As you know, this is very significant, and we'd also like to know the people that are going to benefit from this and the people that are chose to go and trained on this. You know, it's important for people to have different knowledge on different areas in order for us to be able to serve our nation. I mean, when you talk about national development, it's not only the infrastructure, but you also talk about certain things that will make life easy for people. Yeah, so Honorable Minister, you are welcome on the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balde. Thank you very much, Julde. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome. We want you to take us through, I mean, this training and, you know, some of the people that are trained on this.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say good morning to our viewers. Okay, let me give a little bit of a history. The Ministry of Gender came into existence in 2019, and it's an amalgamation of the then Department of Social Welfare and the Women's Bureau. And when we took over social welfare, there you have the orthopedic unit, where limbs are manufactured. These are prostheses for people who have amputees, I can say, who are amputated for several reasons, some due to illness, diabetes, some because of accidents. Yeah. And the unit was not in a very good state. Even though when we started, we tried to get equipments and materials for the unit. But then we said, hey, we have to do a lot more in this unit. You know, so since last year, we've been working on the unit, and we changed a lot of, I can say we gave the unit a complete facelift. When we took over, the roof was asbestos. So we changed the roof with funding from government, of course, fully funded by government of the Gambia. We changed the roofs. We extended the place of work. We changed the windows to sliding windows. We changed the toilets. We did the tiling. We cleaned the place. We gave it a complete facelift. And Central Bank is also coming to give us more support because they saw the need, and under their corporate social responsibilities, they are coming to support us do the conference center, the store, and also raise the fence, and then do the reservoirs or the fence, and also some lighting. Yeah, because as you can see, it's very close to the beach. And many a time, children just jump over, going to the city of Banjul, exactly. So in August this year, we collaborated with Swiss Ability from Switzerland and Lex for Africa to do a training of Gambians. This training was meant for Ziguinchor, where they have a center, but the center is not yet complete. As a result, Gambia benefited. Yes. And we benefited in several ways because we were able to train more of our staff. If the training was going to be held in Ziguinchor, we were going to send maybe 2 or 3 people. But because it was held in Gambia here, we were able to train 21 people. And the Swiss Ability came with materials. They didn't come with equipment because we've already got all the equipment in place. And the past 2 years, we spent a lot of money buying equipment for the manufacturing of the limbs. And one of the things that's which really amazed them was the oven which they saw. And they said to me, Madam Kinte, this is the same oven that we are using in Switzerland. You have got the state-of-the-art equipment. So the training was supposed to have been held in Ziguinchor, but because the center in Ziguinchor is not ready, so they came to Gambia. So we are very lucky. And we were able to train 21 of our staff.
Wow. Yeah,
from different areas. And they brought a trainer. They came with their trainers from Switzerland, and one more trainer from Ziguinchor. And we were able to get participants, not many, one from Sierra Leone, another one from Senegal. That was all. All the other trainers were Gambians. All the other trainees were Gambians. So I think that was really good for us. And then we were able to train our orthopedic technicians. These are our own staff. And there are 8 of them. We train all of them. And we were also able to train physiotherapists, 6 of them, because we work closely with the physiotherapists at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. And we also train our wheelchair technicians. Yeah, we were able to train 7 of our wheelchair technicians. So we train all of our staff. Yeah, so I think that's important, because for such a thing, capacity building is key.
It's important.
Yeah, it's key.
Very significant.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that before this training, it was only a 5-day training. Yes, before this training, it took our staff. It used to take our staff 2 weeks to do a limb. But with this training and the equipment that we have now, it is only 3 hours to do a limb.
To do a limb.
Only 3 hours to do a limb.
Wow.
And then they came with materials which are lighter than the ones that we were using. Yeah, the materials that we were using were a little bit heavy.
Okay.
But the materials that they came with are so light. After your training, you were there. You saw the women dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, dancing. Once they fixed the limb for them, they could move very freely because it's light. They started dancing and jumping about.
Oh,
it shows the satisfaction that they have derived from this.
Exactly.
So when we did the training, we invited some of our patients, 16 of them. They came and we did the replacement of their limbs. And one of the boys, a 19-year-old, it is the first time he's using a limb. Yeah, he got a fracture during a football match. And because where he was staying was very far from the health facility, his colleagues took him to a traditional healer. Within 10 days, the foot was in a very, very bad state.
Exactly.
Yeah, it had to be amputated.
Yes.
This was his first time to use a limb, and he was very happy. Well, seeing him move around, you can see the satisfaction on his face.
Okay.
And then,
right. Honorable Minister, I'm told we will take a look at some of the beneficiaries. I mean, what some of their comments. Yes, it's important. We are happy that these people are not left behind. At least they are included in whatever we do. So let's take a look at that, and we will be right back.
Okay.
Sali Haidara and Aramata Kamara, both beneficiaries, thank the ministry and partners for the life-changing opportunity. I thank Allah I can now walk to the garden and run all other errands without using crutches. I am grateful to them. I am praying to Allah to make everything easy for them. Before I got this prosthetic limb, I found it very difficult to walk. I used crutches, but now I am able to walk and do all my errands. I am very happy with this initiative.
Yeah, we are back, and
they are very happy with the initiative.
Definitely.
And for me, it was the fact that I saw that the joy in these women who are really struggling. Some of them are vendors, some of them are gardeners, and you know the struggle that they have to go through to really, you know, on a day-to-day basis to run their errands was it for me. The fact that they were so happy. So you were, before we go, you were talking about the issue of prosthetic limbs and the fact that it takes before a week to complete and
2
now
weeks.
2 weeks to complete and now just 3 hours
to do a limb.
To do a limb. So aside from these people who benefited, how many other limbs have they made for the other beneficiaries? Okay,
since the training, I didn't check with them how many limbs they have made, because the point is they don't just make limbs like that. People come and they do the measurements. It depends on the demand, because the limbs are of different sizes and they are of different sizes and length. Yeah, there are some who need shorter limbs, there are some who need longer limbs. Yeah, so people must come first and they do the measurement, they do assessment, and then based on that they do a limb. Yes, but I can find out from them how many they have done since then. But talking to one of them a few days ago, he told me that now the demand is higher. Because when we did the training, we were at the closing ceremony and you covered it. And when people saw it on television, they started coming forward to make demands. Yeah, so as a result, we are planning to get more materials. Yeah, in fact, we've now had an agreement with Swiss Ability. Because this training was done with Swiss Ability and also Lex for Africa. Lex for Africa is a British NGO based here in the Gambia. Yes, so they brought Swiss Ability to us. So I just did an email and feed these days from Swiss Ability, and they are ready to bring us some materials. But of course, we are going to pay. And they are sending, bring a container full of equipment and materials, but it's meant for Ziganshore. But it's going to pass through the Port of Banjul. And then the things that we are going to buy from them will also be in the container. And they'll send us some money, so we'll clear the container, remove our stuff, and then load the container on a truck and for Ziganshore. Yes. So I said to my colleagues, now that we have Swiss for Africa, and they are doing so much, the materials that they are producing are so good. Instead of buying materials elsewhere, I think let's go in for their materials. They are of a better quality because we can see the number of hours I can say it took our staff to manufacture a limb, 3 hours as opposed to 2 weeks. And once the limbs were ready and they were fixed for the patients, we also saw how happy they were. I said to them in my statement that the satisfaction that we have put on the face of these people, money cannot buy that. There's no monetary value for that.
True.
Yeah. So we are going to continue with Swiss for Africa and Swiss Ability and Legs for Africa, and do more training of our staff and produce more limbs. And now we are calling on the general public. Those who need the services, let them come forward. Now they can have better limbs, and it's free of charge.
Oh,
you
wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
No, this is
because you talked about the issue that it is of high demand now.
No, this is Adama's government, and it's social welfare. We are here to give support to people. It's free of charge. So we are asking people who need limbs to come forward and go straight to the orthopedic unit behind, next to the School of Nursing, in the middle of School of Nursing and the children's ward.
Yeah,
that's where it is, and then they go straight to the unit and see our staff, Mr. Gabu, Mr. Savage, Mr. Sinyan, and all the others. They're all there, and they'll give them all the required support. Yeah.
Well, I think that's interesting. I mean, do you have any station maybe in the rural Gambia or something? I mean,
that's very good. In fact, we are working with Swiss for Africa. What we plan to do next is to have a mobile station, and it will be all the equipment. We are planning to buy a vehicle which will have all the facilities, and then we'll move from one region to the other to be manufacturing limbs for individuals who need the support. And as we move towards having a similar orthopedic unit in the regions. Yeah. So for the immediate term, we'll be doing limbs at the orthopedic unit here in Banjul. And then for the medium term, we'll get the mobile unit, which will go around all the regions and then do the manufacturing of the limbs. And the long term, we are going to have orthopedic units in all the regions. We want to decentralize so that people don't have to travel all the way to Banjul for this. Yeah. So because we want to be closer to the community, and very soon that's going to happen.
How soon? Because my people in Basse Balde, I don't want them to struggle from all the way to Basse to come here. How soon?
Don't worry. Tell people in Basse that in 1 year's time, promise me it. There will be a mobile van, fully equipped, that will go around to manufacture limbs for individuals. Yes.
But it's easy now for your people to get to Banjul because the road is good around that area now.
But again, the time.
Time consuming, going, coming, and all that.
And some people want to leave their families. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So if we go to meet them, it's more convenient, and we can manufacture more limbs and address the demand of more people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So speaking of the material or the equipment that is coming from, the Swiss Ability guys, is the resources funding available, and where are we really expecting these funds to come from?
Every year, in our budget allocation, we get millions of dollars to buy equipment and materials for the orthopedic unit. Every year, we get nothing less than $4 million allocated to us. To buy materials and equipment for the orthopedic unit. And we are buying a lot of equipment and materials from wheelchairs to canes to brails. Yeah. Anything that people with disability will need. Remember, they also have a right to live. And I want to say here that in 2021, we also passed the Disability Act. And 2 weeks ago, we also endorsed the disability policy. So for people with disability, the sky is the limit.
Okay.
Every effort is going to be made to make sure that the arrests are met.
Okay. Well, I think this conversation is very important.
Very
so it's good that
significant.
we shift now to the local language so that our viewers can also get the chance to really know what is happening and they can benefit because, you know, having this for free, you know, sometimes people like the testimonies from these, you know, beneficiaries. They were like, life was very difficult for them. Before
Imagine
having these
sitting at one
coaches.
place without moving.
Exactly. You know, it was really frustrating. But with the help of the ministry or the intervention, now life is going as normal as possible. So,
Well, I think it's important also to acknowledge, I mean, the efforts of our ministries.
Minister,
If they are doing good, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let us don't just be, you know, get the habit of talking about some negativity.
yeah.
You know, but the positive thing too should also be put out there
Absolutely, yeah.
so that people will know this is what they are doing. You know, so I think we can do that in the local language. Hani saying Honorable Minister, mbafole ko laftale pour ñin training nga min ke angale kangola laftale drom pour nga fom mbadim mandinko la mel yalon ko e mol jibe kan
mbe mol be konton na mbal samala kay na dandal ko na orthopedic unit mi dem to yalan ko mol mi yalan ko illa juuta yesingulu kuntu ga singoda de ifansi tamuno ko e mulu fanka tamuno nyamen orthopedic unit ning bi nga doko commencé in 2019 nga doko jamana keje nga kato bunga nyim bu meri mbalem nga finya mala falinje ila rufolu ko getul meje asbestos say mo to is watenke nga bi faling nga palanterol faling nga bunal faling nga dual tile nga jonkol faling nga dulañi fanan fanundi do ko dulañi saji mo sino je fanan is training fanan keno je sai ni frata je dal zafo ko ga bene 360 degree ton nga wala ke je and central bank fana bina kan ndima pour que na stock ne je ani conference room ani festo fana wulinde ani fana ka lampul ke je ani reservoir yo na stakul sango sang nga ko jawaso to man ko nawul meta da fodal million nani nyong to million woro fan pour que bagasul sang pour ni mul me yalon ko ila njurtale ka wilci yal sang ka dokolo say tamaran dokolo aning doko kiris me yalan ko pour jiminta wala ko fanan sang anim bril comme laptop me yalan ko pour men yalan ko jiminta la ikata safare ka men la anim fen jama ka men sang minen na fanan na masin do sang ka fay oven pour que singul da singul men yalan ko men singul kuntuta ka men da de ala da tam ma koy Swiss for Africa na ta jang nyi katambila ye training ke ina mol lolo ndo la fa menketa ni londi la fa nyin ay tan ka ke ziga jorle ko ibe central bin kan woto central nyi mam pare bito am tan ko man tamé daga medro Lex for Africa is a British NGO wala ni bolé to na tan training ke Gambia jam bibina ila bagas de walnata menketa material tolti bari masingol fo yolta tam bulu janne ko nata baake bi na masingol nyi ko na masingol lu o masin sifa bi fara mu Switzerland iko do ko walla iko nanta baake bi na masingol ye to kamala president Barla masa kunda foten to dama ani jayiro yo natna do ko commencé ina molo mo jama ba e wala karandi do fala do ko lalu ye men karandi na mo sey men yalan ko wal ka singda da malake yo karandi yo physiotherapist men bel planoto ko men kam mo nyabu fana ka e mako ko tamu and things like that wal fana mo woro yo fana karandi kan ni wal fana ko do ko kere alors ko la fana na wheelchair men yalan ko ben puspusol men kadi mo la men ka wolda da wal fana mo worawula yo fana be train yo wo training ko la me fo ya akonta na wadandi dum to dalla mo ni singol da ni singol da la lo ko fula ko ta ko ka singol da sai mo to wata saba singol da ay bang ani fana nun to ka da material bagasul men na bagasul akuleta bakel kuleta baki yo ba sai to le kadra men affaire le yef nga jefan le mo be jenu ya ko ba bidingi ya da mo be don na be sawna to ko be surprise tale so material to tan yuli sama nyana yo kamala sai fana be material san do san ne bulle be tan bul sai me la woli feyata asimol da hani molti batala ando ko la fana nga men fana plan sai ni da ko ta men na mi be ñoo moy kam bakele ka je ko si ambulance o sang mi yalon ko fo be tan la jele na molti da na jandam mato de ibta lawdla
ibe tamon
bari wata bitu ngamul register fa banta so sta bitu ngi mul isingo da mul ye momo ibe demte isingo da deje ya fixie je eta so makatla way ke jani sanje kili nyato
inshallah
yeah so tumondo nata mita wala me fanan kala katla bake ulen kaje ko de automatique ni membe jang nga nyonglo dula dul fananto kato kabona fu baste kana abata wata bakele so ni nga dula dul fanan be ma ko lal bakele an me fo ya akonta no wara ñun bi ñun nata ye teni nyinke mo killing ye wolta gide bisa fara mo tenalt yo bayri teni nying la fa ka kenu 0 jorle alla nata ke gambe har jawti yo mo killing na sala yo me ka futama mo killing fara botna gide bisa me fana ka futama o fana bi tenta jam akonta no wata bake katu ko bayela ko na mol men yala ko binga du singol da fa banta na molu motani woro ngol singol posé ñun molti man yalla ko ni meta ni meta do ko wala so ngi ko man le do inata ni singol faling ake yin simpe maldi yo fonni ke do beje ande sa ati sa ngitani ko no to dam mal ngi ni sinya floti
ndeysa
ami singo yuskan ate binu football la kan abota singo katita yo abade to je da fatal fa bakele la ko ñu ya samba local mulia wul man tawa na be ngay singo ñinti ñaata
abe kuntu la
na l'hôpital yi singo ñin kuntu wul biya singo fixe fodi ma jaba ko nana
ndeysan
so asiyo wota bakele anu ñim be free ni mo ko fe njode free len so ndoku ñu ya fonye ko bi nga ñin ki wato men na fo nga bodi television to ala QTV ala JTS mo jambi na kan say ka ko free fana mako kana ñi singo ñi fiata bakele al fu nga yele musu ni
abe donkan
na be na singo kula tan tina
ate don no la
exactly so kuma ta bakele so me tento di la president wala masa kundala katu ñi meso to wala kono katandi mon la ko mo motu koma mo motu koma katu ko la jutul ben la ministre le koto andu na ba haklo bakan 2021 ñela loi tambini national assembly o bataje lo fula ko bonde fanan ila policy nga fanan pass le cabinet anin fanan ila council fanan ñeta mo fa angale kan to fan ila council ngo fanan establish le lundi 7 November and then we fanan be do ko wala katu ko binge to lundi fa banta ibita kan satel ko dlalto katani mo la say mo le yalan ko la joto le muti imuni mo le ñantoti hono ila ñanto ñi masa ko nay wala long on mbakata ko ila ñanto di la
to ñaale honorable minister abarka bake wato ñim bantale ferek mol ba fala fana ye mol balal nge mutajam fa mita hade foka bare birinata QTV man ko fi fanke
no it's all right it's okay
QTV you did not give the honorable minister at least coffee
balle sutura
or natural water
no ba kiti mental
o muto yaade bari
exactly
balle femine fana mol me ngar ti de ala mo ko tu fana mol nyaaje bang ali yibul yalla ila diamol
to nyaale okay all right if you have the comment from the beneficiaries, you can please play it.
I think we did that.
Yes,
for the Mandinka listeners.
Yes, she want people to hear that.
Okay.
Yes,
the Mandinka version, I'm not sure we have that here. We have the English version.
But the woman was speaking in Mandinka.
The other woman was speaking in Mandinka. So,
but you see them moving and dancing.
Yes,
exactly.
Please, if you have that video, you can play it for us so that people can hear some of the comments from these people. They are very happy. I mean, ngamodo jabe dongola. Biring aya singo fam wulinda be dongola ko nyindum nyiye dongono le. You know, if you have it, please play it for us. Otherwise, okay.
Sali Haidara and Aramata Kamara, both beneficiaries, thank the ministry and partners for the life-changing opportunity.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Ningen kata faroto. I
thank Allah, I can now walk to the garden and run all other errands without using crutches. I am grateful to them. I am praying to Allah to make everything easy for them. Before I got this prosthetic limb, I found it very difficult to walk. I used crutches, but now I am able to walk and do all my errands. I am very happy with this initiative. Sali Haidara and Aramata Kamara, both beneficiaries, thank the ministry and partners.
All right.
Yeah.
Replace with a lighter one.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us this enough time to talk to you.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. So viewers, now Julde will allow you to acknowledge your sponsor, Njai Charah. Mo jaar si yére bi. Da nga taxawé ni nak ñu gis la.
Auntie Fatou,
Taxawal
I'm
ni.
glowing.
Am na
You are.
It's proudly sponsored by Njai Charah.
Waaw, waaye soo taxawoon tuuti ñu gis la.
Oh, okay, guys.
Njai Charah moo ko mun. Njai Charah
Moom
Wall
rek a
Market.
wulli.
Serekunda.
Yeah.
Waaw. Def ko
Njai Charah
nii.
Wall Market moo sponsor. Tey suma outfit bi like always. Dala bi outfit bi mashallah. Balde was telling me that I look so beautiful.
Definitely.
And I was really glowing. And Mr. Ade. So it's sponsored by Njai Charah Wall Market. You can locate him at Serekunda and contact him. His number is 591078 5591075. And their graduation is on the 10th of September. You are all invited to go and grace this occasion. Of course, the president is also invited. The cabinet ministers, philanthropists, they are all invited to actually grace this very important occasion. This is the first graduation for the women because Njai Charah is there to empower the women, ensure that they are business really oriented, and not only that,